The 40 years of wandering were now almost over. So Moses is out in the desert, right? He rescued the Jewish folks, the Hebrew Israelites, by wandering out in the desert for 40 years. Numbers 25 to 36. The 40 years of wandering were almost over. Before God could let the people go into the promised land, he had to check to be sure all the older generation had died. So he had Moses count the people again. Caleb and Joshua were the only older people allowed to go into Canaan. That was because they had been faithful, trust, and spies. But because the people of Midian had led many of the Israelis into idol worship, God said that his people must make war on Midian. Then they did. And God killed all the Midianites. God and the Hebrew Israelites killed all the Midianites. They killed every single last one of them. Men, women, children, they kept their animals. 72,000 ox, 61,000 donkeys, 675,000 sheep. Now that was a score. But the Midianites didn't see what was coming. It's like the Pequot Massacre, Mystic River. Wasn't there a massacre after World War II? Yeah, they killed all those Germans. Those Germans went to Czechoslovakia, and then the Nazis invaded because, yeah, you can't have like Russians or Germans living in an enclave because eventually their damn country will say, no, this is our country. No, this is our country. Just because you had a bunch of fucking Russians living in Florida, that doesn't make Florida Russian, motherfucker. It's still fucking Florida. It's still goddamn America. Even if the whole goddamn state speaks Russian. Then they burned down all the cities in the country estates. Good thinking. Good thinking, God. God and his chosen people. This is goodness and love. Goodness and love and virtue. When the war was over, God's people was very thankful to him. Not a single one of the Israeli soldiers had been killed. What the fuck? They had to have killed thousands of Midianites. How many Midianites were there? With all that sheep and donkey and oxen, 72,000, 61,000, 675,000. It's a lot of goddamn sheep and donkeys and oxen. To show their gratitude, they brought an offering of all the jewelry that had been taken from the Midianites during the battle. Moses and Eleazar, who was the new high priest after Aaron died, accepted the jewelry and put it on to the tabernacle as a thank offering to God. I thought they weren't allowed to worship the golden calf. Then at last the people of Israel stood on the banks of the Jordan River, which separated them from the promised land. They looked across the river into Canaan and thanked the Lord that it was almost time to enter the land. They looked across the river and they're waving across. One day we're going to cross that river. One day we're going to be free. The Midianites. I got a little Wikipedia page. Geographical place, Hebrew Bible. Midian. Apparently northwest Arabian Peninsula, east shore of the Gulf of Aqaba. On the Red Sea, an area which he notes was never extensively settled until the 8th and 9th century BC, according to the book of Genesis. Is that true? The book of Genesis, the Midianites were the descendants of Midian, who is the son of Abraham and his wife, Keturah. Abraham had another wife. He was with Sarah. That's how they got Isaac. And then they had Hagar. And that Ishmael or something. Hagar, Ham. Hagar had somebody. And now we have another wife? How many fucking wives is Abraham going to fucking take? God damn. When they said, go forth and multiply, they meant spread the fucking seed all over the fucking place. Keturah. Abraham took a wife. Her name was Keturah. She bare him Zimran, Jokshan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Zimran, get in here. Zimran and Jokshan, what the hell have you been up to? We're just hanging out with Midian and Ishbak's dead. Well, go get Shua. Where the hell is Shua at? I was going to check that Genesis. It's probably right if they quote it. You want some more? It says April 8th to the 9th. All right. I'm feeling the Holy Spirit today. I'm feeling the Holy Spirit today. The people of Israel were camped beside the Jordan River waiting for the right time to go across. and the tribes of Reuben and Gad, and half of the tribe of Manasseh. Uh-oh. So half of Manasseh, is there a civil war going on? Is there a civil war? I mean, are there any good white women? All these fucking Karens. Why don't I see white women standing up to these shithead Karen motherfuckers? All these shithead Karens. Is that what we fought and died in battle for? So white women can go around being fucking dicks to people? Tribes of Reuben and Gad and half of the tribe of Manasseh came and asked Moses for permission. And how come the good cops don't stand up to the bad cops? How come the good whites don't stand up to the bad whites? How come the good white women don't stand up to the bad white women? How come the KKK and Nazis and Confederate fucking pervert motherfuckers get away with all their goddamn crimes? Fucking nozo chomo motherfuckers, a bunch of oppressor molesters. Telling you, right-wing fucking sovereign movement, them fucking Nazi motherfuckers are over there. Moses for permission to make their permanent homes on that side of the river instead of across the river where the other tribes would be settling. Moses was angry for suggesting such a thing. What's the matter with you? Are you so much afraid of the wicked people over there in Canaan that you want to avoid a war with them? This is Moses. Do you want the other tribes to do your fighting for you? Oh no, that's not it at all, they replied. We have been looking around at the land here on this side of the river, and we think it would be a wonderful place for our flocks and herds. There's plenty of pasture land. What we want to do is to leave our families and our animals here. We men will come across the river with everyone else, and we'll fight right beside you until the Canaanites are all destroyed. Then we can come back here and settle down with our families. Moses thought it over, and he asked the rest of the tribes what they thought. Everybody agreed that the 2.5 tribes could have the land that they wanted if they helped wipe out the Canaanite enemies first. Fine. You can live on that land. You just have to wipe out my enemies first, okay? Wipe out the Canaanites. Are they Hittites, the daughters of Heth? If they're Hittites, the daughters of Heth, sign me up, because fuck the Hittites. Are they the sons and daughters of Lot? Because they could go to fucking hell, too. We don't need the sons and daughters of Lot to... No fucking... I don't even think we need Sarah and Hagar and Abraham's people. That's a motherfucking goddamn bunch of incestual fucking perverts. Nasty motherfuckers. I mean, if Abraham's the father of Islam and Judaism and Christianity, no wonder there's perverts all over the fucking place. Bunch of dumb motherfuckers believing a bunch of dumb shit. Nobody's actually believing in anything that's real. Bunch of Neanderthal fucking... Y'all didn't read St. Augustine? Why, in America, is the only person who read it, St. Augustine, an atheist? Huh? Now this Numbers 25, they actually didn't get into the Midianites because they fucking killed the fuck out of them. And Moses didn't just kill the fuck out of them a little bit. Caleb and Joshua were the only older people allowed to go to Canaan. What? And then Reuben and Gad and half of the tribe of Manasseh. So they're killing the Canaanites because they want to steal the Canaanites' land, right? Is that what they're trying to do? Numbers 35, safe from revenge. Moses kept telling his people about plans for the future when they would be living in Canaan. He himself couldn't go into the promised land, of course. What? Because of his disobedience when he struck the rock to get water. Oh, he cheated. He used his staff and struck the rock and water came out. God, it was a miracle, so it didn't count. And it's like, one of the things that kind of reminds me of the lost blessing of Esau. I want that stew, man. Man, I need that water. Give me that stew, man. All right, just give me your blessing. Just give me all of your lands and your sheep and your oxen. You want my slaves too? Yes. Thou shalt not steal your neighbor's slaves. That's the 10 Commandments, you motherfucking pieces of shit. One of the things he told them was that certain cities were to be given to the Levites for their special use. Each of those cities was to have plenty of pasture land around it for the flocks. Other special cities, Moses said, were to be called the cities of refuge or cities of safety, sanctuary cities. Moses was in favor of sanctuary cities. Numbers 35 says, yes, those cities were places where if somebody who had accidentally killed somebody like Moses did, whoops, he was beaten on that slave and I fell, the rock fell and hit the... Someone else could run to for safety. A relative of the dead person might try to get revenge on the killer. That person was called an avenger, but once a killer was inside a city of safety and had told his story to the judges there, an avenger could not harm him. The killer had to stay in the city of safety until after the death of the high priest. Then he could go back to his original home and no one could punish him for the accidental killing. Of course, if someone killed another person on purpose, that's murder. And the cities of safety were not intended to protect murderers, but only those who had not meant to cause another person's death. Moses' long speech, Deuteronomy. Since he wasn't going to go to Canaan, Moses instead made a long speech to his people, reminding them of all the things that had happened to them since they left Egypt. He didn't want them ever to forget God's goodness to them during the past 40 fucking years. 4 goddamn decades. 2 scores. Moses had seen how easily the people forgot God's instructions and how often they disobeyed God. He repeated all the commandments to them, trying to get them to remember just how God wanted them to live. He said, don't forget, you must never worship any other God. Don't make idols or worship them. Don't use God's name carelessly. Motherfuck. Goddamn Jesus Christ on a cracker. Jesus, Muhammad, Buddhist Christ. On a cracker, always keep the Sabbath day holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. You must never murder. Thou shalt not murder. Damn, that's been law since Moses. That's a good law. Thou shalt not murder. There it is, right there. Anytime I try to talk to somebody about it, they always said that there was exceptions. And there's exceptions to every fucking rule, but the rule is thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie. I like all these. These are all okay. Those are good laws. What the hell is all that shit in the beginning about idols and God and shit? And you must not desire anything that belongs to someone else. Don't even desire it. Oh, come on. How about don't take it? Don't desire your neighbor's wife, house, land, servants, or animals. Done, 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 and done. I like all that. That's a good neighbor. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Then he reminded them about all the other 613 rules. Health and food, cleanliness, relationships with other people, holiness before God, worship in the tabernacle. He repeated what they had learned about all the feasts and festivals they were to observe, each one a reminder of the good things God had done for them. Finally, he told them that Joshua was to be their new leader. So God said, no more Moses, it's Joshua. Then Moses climbed up to the top of Mount Nebo, not Nemo, Nebo, and looked across the river at the promised land, and there Moses died at the young age of 120. You know, 120 is the oldest a person can live. So if he would have gone 1 fucking year older, I'd said bullshit automatically. But 120 is the magic number. Nobody's ever lived over 120. Abraham, no, he didn't. No, 600 years, bullshit. Noah did not live to be 600 years old. And why did we curse Ham when it was fucking Noah that fucked up? Everybody always wants to fuck over Ham. And then goddamn Adam. Motherfucking Adam. 950 years, you dumb motherfucking piece of shit. What a stupid asshole. I bet Adam would go in the middle of a desert and find a man out there and be like, hey, did you come out here to spy on me? Stupid ass Adam. Stupid fucking Adam. You go out in the middle of a desert and you meet a person. Hey, you probably want to be away from people, right? Yeah, I did. So why you bother me? You saw one person out here in the middle and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go bother that one. Get away from me! So there you go. That's Deuteronomy. That's nice. I like that. Who the fuck wants to read all Deuteronomy? Good. Now we're on to Joshua. Joshua becomes the leader. Joshua 1. After Moses died, Joshua took over the job of leading the people of Israel. Joshua had been Moses' assistant, his secretary. And what better person to lead the brigade than the number 2 guy? He was also one of the 2 faithful spies who had brought back a good report from Canaan, had encouraged the people to trust God for safety. God said to Joshua, "Get the people ready to cross the Jordan River. I will keep my promise to give you all the land you walk on, many miles in each direction. Don't be afraid of going to Canaan, because I'll always be with you and will take care of you wherever you go. Just be sure to obey me and be brave and be brave." Moses killed all the Midianites and then took the girls for himself. Killed every single one of them, man, woman, and child. And he said if the girl hadn't been with anybody, then you could keep her, but everybody else had to die. And you saw all the shit that they fucking took. And why? Because they said they led the Israelites to idol worship. I feel like that's kind of it's a pretty flimsy pretense there for motherfucking genocide. God damn. We had Noah's fucking flood, killed everybody of Adam and Eve's people. Now we have the Midianites just being fucking wiped the fuck out. That's genocidal as fuck. Midian is the son of Abraham. Why are we being shitty to the Midians? That would make him just like a Hebrew Israelite like anybody else. Abraham's great-grandson Joseph, after being thrown into a pit by his brothers, was sold to either the Midianites or the Ishmaelites. It's probably the Ishmaelites. Quit blaming the Midianites for everything. Moses spent 40 years in voluntary exile in Midian after killing an Egyptian. He was in Midian. There he married Zipporah, the daughter of Midianite priest Jethro, also known as Reuel. Jethro advised Moses on a system of delegated legal decision-making. Moses asked Hobab, the son of Reuel, to accompany the Israelites traveling towards the Promised Land because of his local knowledge. War against Midian followed. Number 31 reports that all but the virgin females were slain and their cities burned to the ground. Some commentators, for example, the pulpit commentator in Gill's exposition of the Bible, have noted that God's command focused on attacking the Midianites and not the Moabites. Similarly, Moses in Deuteronomy directed that the Israelites should not harass the Moabites. That's Lot's people. Fucking Lot's. Fuck the Lot motherfuckers. Fuck the Moabites. They went to war against the wrong people. Modern day movement, the Phineas priesthood, has interpreted this story as a prohibition against miscegenation, despite the Midianites being closely related to the Israelites as descendants of Abraham, and Moses being married to a Midianite. God damn it. Moses was married to a Midianite, and he killed all the Midianites? What the fuck? You gotta watch out who they marry. They'll bring in the fucking devil. It's like the goddamn vampires. During the time of Judges, Israel was oppressed by Midian for 7 years until Gideon defeated Midian's armies. Isaiah speaks of camels from Midian and Ephah coming to cover your land, although the gold and frankincense from Sheba. The passage taken in the Gospel of Matthew is foreshadowing of the Magi's gifts to the infant Jesus. Christmas liturgy.